Now we will see phase by phase. Okay, we'll see phase by phase how data will be loaded and how the uh, um, 1 second. Let me open this. I need this diagram. I need this diagram. Okay. Now I have a data. This data is, what is the size of this data? What we have taken, 3 um 3 blocks, right? My block size is 128 MB. So 3 blocks are there. It's a 384 is my total file size. 384 is my total.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
You guys are not
Are
able
you
to see
sharing your screen?
my, please check now and re shared.
Yeah, now it is visible.
Okay. See here. So what we did yesterday, we have taken an example. Then we have seen how mapper output is coming, how it is we have seen, right? So now I'm going to show the same with, I'm going to show the same with um, internals of the Mapreduce code. I can say it is the Mapreduce internals of the Mapreduce code. Okay, how input split is calculated, how record read is calculated, how mapper is taking that code, how reducer is taking that code. So I'm going to show that now. So this is the data, which is my block size is 128 MB. My total file size is 384 MB. So now this is the file1.txt. So this file1.txt, what we will do, very first stage, we will load into HDFS. We will load into HDFS. We will load into HDFS. So the file is there, slash data slash sample file, we have taken file, right? File1.txt. This is my file. This is my file name. So this file, what we did, we divided into, as soon as you loaded the data into HDFS, it will be break into blocks. So the breaking the blocks and all will be considered at the time of HDFS only. For the MapReduce, it will consider the block size. It will not take the physical block. We need to understand one thing here. We need to understand one thing here. So the physical blocks are for when you're loading into HDFS. So when you load into HDFS, your data will be break into pieces. That pieces are called chunks. The chunks are called blocks. Okay. So now when I come to the MapReduce, you will not consider this physical block. You will not consider this physical block. We will consider only logical blocks. The logical blocks are nothing but a split. We will consider only logical block. The logical blocks is nothing but a split. Okay, so these logical blocks will be calculated based on the input format. These logical blocks are calculated based on the input format. What type of input you are going to process in MapReduce. So these logical blocks will be calculated based on your input data. So we are not considering these blocks. I saw that most of the people are confusing with the blocks, right? Don't consider the blocks, physical blocks. I will consider the block size for the calculating input splits. I will consider the block size, but I will not consider the block. Okay. Now let's look at here. What's happening after loading the data into HDFS? One block, two blocks, three blocks. So instead of saying blocks, I can say they are input splits. I don't want to use the keyword called block. So the data, whatever the data I have loaded into this, what happened? That data has been logically divided. The data has been logically divided. Who will divide that logically? Your input format. Who will divide that? Your input format. Let's see that. Let's see that who will divide that. Let's see who will divide that. Let's see that who will divide this. It is become a little slow now. It was working fine till now. It will become a sort of sudden. So we are using input formats, no? We are using input format, right? Which input format? That will be there in input. Let's go file input format class. File input, that's the parent. Okay, I'll show you that. Text input format. We're using text file for the text input format. Let's look at guys here. Let me explain from here. So you guys may not able to see this code. This is the what you call, this is a source code of your Mapreduce framework. Okay, your text input format class. Guys, try to listen carefully. I'm going to show you something internals of your Mapreduce. Your text input format is extended file input format, which I have open here. Okay, I will show that later. If you are using a file input format, if you are using a text input file format, your key is always long writable. Your key is always long writable, and your value is always text. What is the key? What is the key? If it is a text input format, what is the key? Kishore, Anisha, Ganesh, Anil, Akash,
Offset.
Anisha, others. I'm hearing only few guys. What about others? I want everyone to talk.
Long writable.
Long writable, what is that? What is that in the file? See, this is my text file. I want to process this text file. So what is
Uh,
the key in this? What is the value in
your
this?
offset text.
Offset.
That is the key, and the yeah
Complete line is the value. Correct?
value. Yes.
Harika, Ganesh, you guys are able to follow? Right? So your offset is the key and complete line is the value. So offset means number. So number always will be either iterable or long writable. So why we are not taking iterable? Because when you take a big data, huge data, the offset number will be very big number. Offset will be very big number, right? So when it is a very big number, what will happen? The number range will go beyond the integer range. So that's why we are taking long writable, long write. Text is complete your line object. Complete your line is nothing but we are taking as a text. I mean value. Okay. Now your text input format. Look at guys carefully here. Your text input format has something called create record reader. Create record reader. What is your create record reader? It is creating the record readers based on this format delimiter. I'll also tell you that what is a delimiter. So before that, to create a record reader, what it is taking? What it is taking? Please guys, tell me what it is taking. To create a record reader, it needs something. What is that? Your input split. You need input split, right? On top of input split only, you will get the record reader. Yes or no? You can clearly read in the code, source code. Input split represents the data to process by an individual mapper. What is that? Input split represents the data, a logical representation of the data to process by an individual mapper. Typically, it presents byte-oriented view on input and is the responsibility of record reader of the job to process this and present record-oriented view. What is your input split? Input split is a logical representation of the data which will process by single mapper or individual mapper. You guys understand what is input split? I want everyone respond to me. Please. I want everyone respond to me. If you didn't understand, ask me one more time. I want everyone respond to me. Each and everyone.
Understand, Viral? Yes,
Right?
Viral.
Now, so what is your input split saying that it is a logical representation of the data which will be processed by individual mapper, single mapper. And what is record reader? So that is ideally that is a logical representation. Someone has to read it. Someone has to read it. That reading is taken care by record reader. Why we are calling it a record reader? It read by record by record. It will read by record by record. Let's look at guys here. Your input split class is an abstract class. Okay, it has something like get the size of the split. You have some method called get length. What this method will do? Get the size of the split so that the input split can be stored by size. It means your input split represents from where to where one record reader has to read, to where one mapper has to execute. All right, and there is something called get locations. Get the list of the nodes of the name where the data for the split would be local. So now I want to get the locations of the input, the split will be there in multiple machines. Means as soon as you load the file like this, it will break into pieces and it will be loaded into multiple machines. Correct? Now your logical representation, your input format, it is also now calculating the input splits. Okay, how it will calculate input split, I'll show you. Okay, you're not to worry about it. So now it is calculating the input splits. Now it should know which input split is there in which location, which data node, which input is there in which location. So I need to get the location. So if I get the location, based on that I can launch a mapper wherever the data is there. So for that I have something called get locations. Your input split will give you input split length, split location. If you know the split location, it's easy to launch a record reader to read and give you to mapper. So, and there is one more get location info, gets info about which node is the input split is stored on how it is stored in each location. So list of split location information describe how the split data is stored at each location. A null value indicates that all the locations are have the data stored in the disk. Okay, so your input split has something called get length as well as get locations. Let's go back to your text input format. Let's go back to text input format here. Now you know that input split, you know the input split. Now how I need to read? How will I know whether it's a one line or multiple lines? How will I know it? Based on your text input format dot record dot delimiter. So this is actually a slash n is the character for it. So we will find, I will show you. Actually it has to go to context. Inside the context there is a configuration, there it will be there. I can say dot class. It's not find anything. It will be there, guys. Let's search properly. No, maybe it is not able to decompile and show you something. Search is not able to search in the what you say in the inside the class files. So we can go back context. This is the context and where this get configuration. Mm, if I go in, no, this is a context variable. We can, if we see where this set, somewhere we'll be setting this. Okay, set dot the variable. No, this is not the one. I think. Yeah, no, this is not the one. This is job context. Okay, so your job context will have everything. So that this is not the one. Fine. So I may not able to open that and show you exactly. We're running out of the time. So this record reader, this is the delimiter for whether the record has to slash n or slash t or dot whatever it is. So that delimiter will be specified in this configuration. This configuration will specify that. Okay, so based on that, then it'll go and create line record reader. Try to understand. Now we understood what is the input split. Now we need to understand what is a line record reader. So line record reader is a class. Look at guys here. A line recorder is a class which extended the record reader class. What is the record reader class? Record reader class is an abstract class. Let's go. It's opening. It is an abstract class. This abstract class has 6 methods. Let's see what are they. One is the initialize method. One is the initialize method. What is this initialize method? It will take the input split and it will start calculating your keys and values. And you have something called next key value. Next key value. It will tell us that is there any next key value. So in this file, when I'm processing the first line, is there any next lines? Is there any next lines? Like that it will be seeing inside it's inside the split. So when I'm processing the first line, it will also check is there a next line. Okay, it will also check that is there any next key value. Okay, it will also checking is there any next key value, right? So get current key. Whenever whatever the line I am processing, from that line give me the current key value. Sorry, key. I mean keys or whatever the value will come for the key. You give me that and get current value. So here the value means complete line. Give me that line to me. Next, there is something I'll get progress. What is the progress? The current progress of the record reader. And close. These are the 6 methods are there in your record reader. Your line record reader, any record reader guys, line record reader, or if you write your own record reader, so you have to override all these 6 methods. Let's look at guys very high level here. We are taking the maximum length of the line and we are taking the starting position, ending position, all what is your split reader. So your split has to read split line reader, and you have data has to be file system data input stream. It will create a data input stream seekable, so it has to read the seekable positions. So you have some is the compressed data, is a decompressed data, what is the record delimiter, what is your record. So all these based on these parameters will be reading the data, will be reading the data. Okay, whoever calls they will give this and we will be initializing it and we will be fetching the maximum line length. We will be fetching the maximum line length. Maximum line length is nothing but what is the integer value, maximum value. What is the maximum value of integer? 21474836. That's some maximum value of your integer number. And the starting position, end position, a path. It is also getting the file path where the file is there. So if it is there the file only, then only it can easily understand the where the location from where to where I need to read. Okay, it is creating the file system stream and you start reading that. to open the file, and it's also checking is there any compressions. If it is a compression, it has to apply the specific codecs. So it has to apply some specific codecs to read the file, right? So all the data will be read here, and it will form the key value pairs. What is my starting position? What is my end position? From where to where I need to read? From where to where I need to, you know, from where to where I need to read? From where to where is the key? From where to where is the value? So that information will be made in a your in your initialize method. Initialize method. After initialize method, there is something called next key value. The next key value tells you that is there any next line in the split? Is there any next line in the split? Do I need to continue or I need to stop? This is if it is the last line, I will continue. I mean, I'll stop. If it is there any record in any other lines in the line in the split, I will continue. So that will tell by your next key value. So it will return the Boolean value whether it is there. Yes. It is not there. No. So how it will identify? Based on the positions. So based on the positions. Look at guys here. Based on the position, based on the what is the maximum length of the split, and what length, what position I am running. So I can easily identify whether next lines are there or not. Get current key, it will just give you a current key, and the current value, it will just return you a current value because this all key value is already calculated up upper. All these key values are already calculated in the up. So that will be returned to you. Then get progress, it will give the what is the progress of that starting and ending is equal or not. If starting and ending is equal, then it will say that it's completed. And close, if you are open any channels like any file input streams or any streams you have opened, so we can close them. If you have any compressions, close them. Okay. Okay, this is your record reader. So your record reader is the guy who has the 6 methods to read the data, to get identify the positions, to convert into key values, and this guy is making it, converting it. So now from this diagram, we got input splits. We got input splits, correct guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
We got the input split. This input split based on the input format, right? Based on the input format. Now, after this input split, this input split is just a logical representation. So from where to where I need to read, right? After that, there is some guy who is called record reader, That record reader started reading your data, correct? This guy started reading the data. Why? How it is starting? How it is reading the data? He has something called record. There are some methods in him. So based on those methods, he reading. Started reading. Look at guys here. So now record reader, record reader, record reader, record reader. You have something called record reader, correct? You have a record reader here. You have a record reader. What this record reader will do? He will read the input splits. He will read the input splits, and he will form a key value pairs. How we will read? Because he has 6 methods to convert them, to convert your input splits into record reads. I mean key value pairs, I can say. Okay, now it has been. Now I have input for input data. Based on the input format, I have calculated input splits, and there is some record reader who will read my data. That's good. Now, so what's happening after that? So after that, in your driver class, you have specified the map method, right? So your map method has to get the key value pair. So these guys are calculated. So someone has to ask. If they ask only, then they will give. That's why the return types. If you see here, if they ask only, then only I'll give. They will not. They are just methods. So if someone asks me, then I'll give the return type, the response. So someone asks me, I'll give the response. Get current key. If anyone asks me to queue, I'll give this. If anyone asks me to give, I'll give this. Right? This is the line record reader, guys. If you write your own, you also has to implement all the 6 methods. Okay, let's back. Now, your mapper method. Go to your mapper. Go to your mapper class. So there is a mapper class here. This is your mapper class. This is your mapper class. This is your mapper class who will take a key 1, value 1, and will give as output as a key and value. Who will take the input as a key value and who will give the output as a key value. So in this map method, as I said before, we have something called setup method. Setup method. What is the setup method will do? For all your initializations at the time of before your map method, actual business logic launch, before your map method launch, if you want to do any setup kind of things, initializing the values, assigning some default values, creating some object, these kind of things, if you want to do anything only once, if you want to do only once for a job, for input for input split, like let me put in this way, for one input split or for one map instance, for map one instance, you want to do only once, we will keep it here, we will do that. Okay, this setup method will call only once per one instance, only one per one instance, or I can say only one for one input split, only once for one input split, one map instance for one input split, guys. If you see here, map instance for one input split, here one map instance will launch mapper object, here one mapper object, here one mapper object, each mapper object, one mapper object contains one map method, right? This mapper object will launch with a setup. There is something called map. There is something called cleanup. Now let's talk about your map method. So your map method is expecting key and value. Who will give key and value? Who is giving? And he is taking the key value and he's returning context dot write. He is returning key and value. He's taking key and value and is giving back as a key and values. And there is something called cleanup method. If you open anything, if you assign any values here, you want to terminate them or you want to assign the null values, we will do in the cleanup. So your setup and cleanup will execute only once in a life of mapper instance. I'm talking about mapper instance. Please guys, try to remember. So map means your map method. Mapper means object. Map means a method. Mapper means an object which has a map method. Now look at guys here, there is something called run method. There is something called run method in the mapper. So as soon as someone called your mapper class, they will call this run method. They will call this run method. Whoever is calling your map method, they will call this run method. Okay, if we want to see this, this is calling by mapper. So as soon as you call that, your mapper will call this. So when the mapper calls this, it should take the context object. Context object. So we'll talk more about the context object as of now. Just remember, context object is an object which contains all the information like your task, what is the task you're using, what is the configurations you're using, what is the record reader you're using, and what is the task attempt ID you are using. So all the things will be available in context object. Now setup, very first time it will call setup only once. Only once. Guys, look at here. Why only once? Why can't it be multiple times? because your run method, inside the run method, your setup method has been called only once. Your setup method has been called only once. And coming inside the try catch, the try catch is telling that there may be a chance some exceptions may come in the map method. That's why whenever you are writing your own mapper, it will clearly ask you that either you handle using try catch or you throw an exception. So that exceptions are IO and interrupted exceptions. Okay, fine. So we will talk about that exception part later. We know about it. So inside a while loop, context dot next key value. What is this context dot next key value? Whatever you have seen in the line record reader, right? The same next key value. Now your mapper, this next key value says that is there any next record or not? Is there any next record or not? Yes, it is the record. See, initially it will be very first position. I mean, before it will be here. It will be here. From here it will check. Initially it is 0. It will check. It will come here. Yes, one key value pair is there. One key value pair is there. Just go inside then. So one key value pair is there. Like one line is there. One record is there. Go inside. After going inside, while loop. It is a while loop, guys. Go inside. Map. Get the current key. What is this current key? From your line record reader. Look at guys here. Get current key. Get current key. And next. That is the key. For your map method, that is the key. Comma. Get current value. Comma, context. These are the parameters you are passing to your map method. These are only three parameters you are passing to your mapper. Even if you write a word count program or even if you write a very big project, only these parameters only will pass, not more than that. Okay. So based on this current key, based on the current value, you are writing your logic. You know, you'll be overriding this method, no? So there you are writing your own logic. So this map method is there in the while loop. This map method is there in the while loop. So if the math method is calling in the loop, it means what? How many lines are there in a one input split? How many lines are, or how many records are there in one input split? Those many times your map method is getting called. Your map method is getting called. Your mapper is only once. Your mapper is only once. Mapper instance, mapper object only once. But map method is multiple times. Map method is multiple times. Let me do it here. Okay, so even though this is your map instance, okay, this here map instance will launch. Inside that you have a map method. Map of, who will take a key from the record reader and value from record reader ctx context. Ctx context. Who took the context? Map method, he will take the key comma value comma context. Map method, key comma value comma ctx. So now this map method every time, so first time what it will do, your record reader will give one key value because it has two key value pairs in this example. So it will give one key value pair to this. It will take and it will request for next also, second time. How many records are there? Those many times. So it will be like this. It will be like this. Okay, so now your map method is keep executing based on the number of records in your Input split. How many records are there in input split? Those many times your map method is executing. Those many times your map method is executing. Fine, sir. Till here is good. So how the map input splits has been calculated? You shown that the input object, but how input splits are calculated? Is there any formula for it? Yes, there is a formula for it. If you are using text input format, that is from parent of this guy. Okay, so it's a text input format child of file input format. In the file input format, if you see here, all are the input file input format, split size, minimum split size, maximum split size, path filter, number of input files, okay, input directory, all the information is there here. So here there is something called, so this is a very little bigger file. I'm going to show you only the input split method. Compute split size. What will be my input split size? Let's look at, guys, here. This is your input split size. Computing input split size. Who is taking the block size and who is taking the minimum size? Who is taking the maximum size? What is this, sir? I didn't see. What is the block size? Anyway, I know. What is the minimum size? What is the maximum size? I don't know, sir. Please, what is, show me that. Okay, go back. So I'm going to show this. Should know what is the minimum size. Okay, so what is the minimum size, guys, here? Okay. Minimum size, max of get formatted input split size, comma, min split size. It means we'll take the maximum value from the format in minimum split size and get minimum split size. Let's go inside this. What is this minimum split size? 1. Okay, let's go back and let's see this guy. 1. What is your minimum split size? 1. 1L means 1. It means your minimum size is 1. So your minimum size is 1. That is not fixed, guys. That is not fixed. If you are using text input format or file input format, that's the 1. If you are using some other input format, that will change. That's based on the input format, it change. Right? Next one, max size. So we need to find the minimum and maximum, right? So we need a minimum size and maximum size. What is the maximum size? Let's look at here. What is the maximum size? It is getting the split maximum size. It is getting the maximum size, and also it is, look at, guys, here, long maximum value. What is the long maximum value? Maximum range of your long, upper value of your long variable. This is your upper value. This is your upper value of long value. So this, that much big it is. Okay, now you know that what is the minimum size and you know what is your maximum size. You know what is your minimum size and you know what is your maximum size. Guys, here, what does it mean? See, split minimum size, it is taking from this configuration. Okay, if this configuration is there, if anyone modified this configuration, you take that. If no one is modified this configuration, you take the hard coded value, which is long value. Let's go back and see this configuration. What is this configuration? Go to your Mapreduce. There's other problem, guys. Here, so that source code and sometimes here will not match. Mhm. Hmm. Mapreduce dot input dot file input format split dot minimum size. So here it is 0, but in our source code it is 1. That's what. See here, the minimum size chunk that map input should be split into. Note that some file formats may have a minimum split size that take the high priority. It means some file format already has their own split size. They will take their own. They will take their own split size. They will not consider this value. Okay, so that will be taken first priority. Okay, next look at where is the max split size here. It is not specified. So how we have a same, there will be maximum split size. That's the problem here. Sometimes it will not match. So we need to, no, it's not. Sometimes the each input format itself they will be having their own split. So that will be considered. Let's see. This is threshold. This is something different. No. No guys, I'm not able to find here, but in Hadoop 1 version I was seeing it. I have seen it in Hadoop 1 version. Anyway, here they are finding maximum value is the length of it. Now let's go back. Let's go back to our compute method. Yeah, now compute split size method. So now we know what is our block size. What is our block size? You want to see that? You know why we know what is our block size. Block size is nothing but our 128 MB. But if its configure is changed, based on that it will take. Block size. Get the block size. Look at, go here, this method. Oh, this method is not opening. It's downloading the source code. It will take some time. Why you are not, this is not able to convert into this. So it's nothing, very simple. So what it will do, it will bring the your configuration, whatever there in our configuration, that block size it will be bring it. So we know what is our block size. Right now it's computing. See the formula guys, for this, actually for this formula only I have shown this all these things. So the formula is max of minimum size. Minimum size we know 1, and math.min of maximum size. Maximum size we know what is a very long value, and our block size, and our block size. Let's look at guys here. So I'm going to calculate input split. I'm going to calculate input split. What is the formula of that? What is the formula? Max of minimum size and min of, tell me guys, your max size comma block size. Okay, this will tell you your input split size. Now, so we know that max of minimum is 1, min of this max value, if you guys remember, if you guys remember, that's very big number. So if you want me to open that, what I can do, I can do from here, long dot, this is the value. This is the value. Block size. So now we know that our block size, right? Calci, open Calci. So 128 MB is the block size. Into, I need to convert into bytes. 1024 into 1024. Bytes into KB, MB to KB, KB to bytes. So this is our number. Okay. Now this is my number. Okay. This is the number. Okay. Now guys, tell me max of 1 comma min of, which is the minimum in these two numbers? Which is the minimum in these two numbers? Which is the minimum in these two numbers?
13,
Huh?
13, 4 to 1.
So
No,
13,
second.
4, 2, 1, 7, 7, 2, 8. So which is your block size? In this, what is the maximum number?
Again the same.
So it means here the 134, 21, 77, 28. What is this? Your block size. It means your input split size equal to almost block size. It's not almost, it's equal because we are using text input format. We're using text input format. In this case, your text input format, your block size is equivalent to your input split. Your input split. Everyone is understand? You guys understood? Guys,
Yes, Veera.
Yes, Ravi. Yes, Ravi.
Akash, Anila,
Yes,
Anisha,
Ravi.
Yes, sir, understood.
right? So this is how the input file will be from the input file. Input splits will be calculated. After input splits is calculated, RecordReader will be launched. On that, your map instance will be launched. Inside the map instance, it will take the key value pairs. It will start processing. So whatever the logic you write, it will start processing. Then you will be having something called sort and shuffle. But before that, guys, there are some more things we will not discuss at that now. So there are some more things in before going to a short and shuffle. There is some more phases are there. Okay, we will talk about that later, and it will go to your short and shuffle. Shuffle and sort, I can say shuffle and sort. After shuffle and sort, it will launch reducer. So that depends on us whether reducer is required or not, whether reducer is there or not. That's depends on us. That depends on us. So based on our if you have a reducer, then only the short and shuffle will go. If you don't have a reducer, the short and shuffle will not go. If you don't have a reducer, the short and shuffle will not happen. If you don't have a reducer, here only the process will end. If you have a reducer, that will go to short and shuffle. So then you will be having next, you'll be having reducer phase. It can be single reducer, it can be multiple reducers. We will talk about that, in the coming classes. How it will work in the multiple reducers, how it will work in the single reducer. We'll talk about it. I hope everyone is clear. And this is your reducer. This is reduce method. I can say it's reduce method who will take a key, comma value and context also ctx. Then this guy will emit the final output. This guy will emit a final output. So I didn't talk much about the reducer because it's not really that much important. Reducer input has, again, here text output format is there. There is something called text output format. There is something called record writer who will write into this. So then your record reader will start processing. Even your record reader also will do the same. You want me to show that? So we didn't talk much about it because it's not that really important. Once the map is launched and we will finish the task, as soon as how you have seen your mapper, the same way the reducer also there. For the reducer, you also have something called run method who will take next key, current values, get values. You have something called record writer. Let me open that. If you want, I can show that. Okay, this is comes from your Redis context. So from the Redis context, actually he will get from record writer. Okay, even your map method also getting from the map context. Okay, that's what I was telling, that map context is a very big object. We can think such a way that it's a global object. If you go and see here, when I say get current value, it's coming from where? For map context. Where is that? And it's going to the implementation part. Let's see the implementation part. Okay, how you have a Redis context. See here, you have all the implementation for that. So there is something called Redis Writer. There is something called Redis Writer who has a write method, and from here, or record writer, sorry, not Redis Writer, it's record writer. From there, they will start getting all the information. Okay, you will get the positions, and you'll start get current key, current value. Then they will start make the current key, get current key, get current value. They'll start make it, and they'll start return the values. Next key value, is there next key value? Yes, it is there. Go ahead. If it is not there, not there. Clear? Any doubts? Any doubts till here? This is not opening. I think this is not converting. Any doubts, guys? This is your text
No,
input output format. How you have a text input format, the same way you have something called text output format also. Okay. So
No.
that is about the internals of your MapReduce. So tomorrow onwards we'll be executing. Now you guys know what's happening internally. Okay, so why I have covered this before only because so when I'm going to show some more example, you should not be in a confusion state. What's happening internally? Why it is working like that? You should not be in that confused state. So to make you that, to make sure you are not going to confuse, so that's the reason I have shown no, each and everything. So tomorrow onwards, what we will be doing, we'll be doing all these exercises, all these exercises. So we have seen only word count, and we will be seeing something called grep, and we'll be seeing something called set maximum length. There is so many examples. We'll be seeing each and every example. Okay. So tomorrow, be ready from tomorrow. We'll be doing hands-on sessions. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thanks for time. Have a great day.